Welcome to Connection to the Cosmos with your host, me, Dr. Lisa Thompson, where I have out of this world conversations with extraordinary people. And today I am so excited to have my soul sister, Kris Groth, on with me. Let me tell you a little bit about Kris. So, Kris Groth is an Archangel Life Coach, intuitive energy healer, spiritual teacher, sound healer, and best-selling author. Her fiction books in the Soul Healing series, Soul-iloquy and Solicitude, weave together her love of romance and her knowledge and experience in spirituality and healing. For over 20 years, Kris has worked with clients all over the world to heal their hearts, nourish their souls, and illuminate their paths. Now, through these books, she hopes to bring this healing and wisdom to a wider audience. So welcome, Kris. I am so excited to have you here with me today.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Always fun to talk with you.
Yes. And so, normally these podcasts have a little more of like the alien flavor. However, angels are definitely like higher dimensional beings. And so I'd love for you to share with everyone how you even got into working with the angels and what that looks like.
Well, I've always been interested in angels, even, growing up. That was something that always appealed to me. But I would say, well, close to 20 years ago, I was taking a healing class and was on the table receiving energy healing, and this big angel came in, and this was all new to me, and I was even like I wasn't real open into my intuition at the time either, but it was a powerful experience. And the person working with me at the time was describing to me all, the things she was seeing and hearing, and it corresponded to what I was sensing. I'm more of a feeler, so I was feeling what she was describing. And so that kind of, after that experience, I was like, oh, I want more of that. I want more of that. And so I kept working through different classes and trying to, open up, expand my intuition more, but also learn more about the different angels. So I spent time in meditation and trying to connect one at a time, trying to get a feel for it. Because as a feeler, when you're feeling energy, different beings have different vibration, but until you figure out what that is or how to recognize it, that it's all just sensation, right? It's all, it's hard to understand. So it took me a long time to differentiate and to be able to trust what I was feeling and sensing, and to bring the knowing that went with the sensation. So it was several years that I was, playing around with it, calling in different ones and trying to get a good enough sense where I could, kind of get to know them a little better and then move on to the next one. So
Fascinating. So okay, so when you're feeling the energy, so are you only working with the archangels, or are you also working with other kinds of angels?
I did a little bit of both. I think I preferred to do the archangels because there was like a basis to it. Like I could have a name and say, okay, today I'm going to call in Archangel Michael. And, I could, I had something to go by. Whereas the other angels, I didn't have a name, or I didn't have, and knew they were there, but it was just harder to build a trust with that. Whereas, the archangels, I had a list of their names, and I could call on them one at a time and get a sense of them and know, okay. And I would write down in a journal, okay, if I call on Archangel Michael, this is what I felt. This is where I felt that, and I kind of kept track. So every day I could compare, okay, this day and this day, I felt the same thing. Maybe there's something to that. And then, the more I did it, then the more I was able to trust that, okay, every time I feel it this way, that means it's Archangel Michael.
Okay. And so when you're calling them in, so like with Michael, for instance, if you're calling him in, he just shows up for you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I would sit in meditation and I would set the intention that, okay, today I'm gonna ask Archangel Michael to come in and help me to experience him. I want to feel the vibration. I want to feel, whatever it is in my body, or, if there's colors, I want to sense those. Whatever I can sense, I want to be open to sense that. And so then I would, I would do that. I would sit with it for a while, and then I would get out my journal and I would write whatever experience I was having. It might even be thoughts that came through, or images that came to my mind, whatever that happened to be during that time. Sometimes they might not seem relevant, but other times they were, and sometimes I didn't get the pattern until later, of what was really, coming to me. So
Yeah. Okay. So, and the reason why I want to like really get into this is because I know that there are a lot of curious people out there of like, well, how do I call the angels in, or how do I call the different aliens in, or fairies, or whatever
Mhm.
the other dimensional beings are. So,
Right.
any advice that you can give, and you're giving great advice right now of what you did of like
Mhm.
calling in very specific ones and feeling that. So do you, so is there anything else that you would advise people?
Yeah. I didn't have any specific thing that I said, or, like there wasn't a specific invocation or anything. I just, okay, today it's going to be, Archangel Raphael, what can you help me experience? And so, but I was clear about setting my intention, and really, creating this space to do this, where I would light a candle, and I would, have a time. It was usually at night, when after everybody else went to bed. That was when it was quiet in my house. So I would, have my quiet time, and I would, sit and call them in, and I'd have my journal. And so it was like my sacred time. Um, but yeah, it would be the same for whatever being that you wanted to call in.
Mhm.
Um, and for me, I needed to do the same thing over and over and over and over. Like if I was going to work with Michael, I needed to work with Michael every day, until I got to trust it. If I would
Mhm.
switch from one to the next, it all just got muddled together, and it felt the same. But I needed that prolonged time to establish that trust, more
Mhm.
trusting my intuition than anything else.
Okay.
But and the discernment, because when you're sensing energy, for me, it was hard to differentiate, unless I did a prolonged time where I really got to know them, and then I could sense like different signs that would come in, or different messages that would come through, and get a feel for the ways that they help me and things like that. So that prolonged time was important for me, just because I'm a doubter. From my into my human design, that's one of my big things is doubt. So for me, I needed to set it up in a certain way to get around that doubt, that I'm always doubting whether, okay, am I doing this right? Was this really a sign? Was it just my, the way my body was feeling that day, or, maybe it was something else completely different.
Yeah.
So
Now that's interesting you bring up human design, because you're also a 1-3, and the ones need to research. They need like that hard, the facts, and so
mhm,
that's you doing that. But the 3 is the experiencer, the experimenter. So having that
yeah.
hands-on combined with that like deep
Mhm.
study.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So very interesting. So can you share like between Michael and Raphael, how that feels different in your body, or how that shows up differently for you?
Mhm. So Michael has a stronger energy, so he was easier to feel. He was the first one I started with, just because he's so well known, and so I started with him, and his energy is more powerful, and let's see, I don't it's shifted over the years of how I sent them, but I remember there was like a place on my back where I was sensing Michael, and it was like, okay, a hand on my back, that was okay. like that he was here. And Raphael, since I'm a healer, so I work with people, with the putting my hands on people and doing therapy with them. And I didn't realize I knew that, okay, I was sensing things with my hands. I had like this energy in my hands. Sometimes they would feel warm, and I didn't really know what that was. But as I was working with people, things were happening. And it wasn't until a couple years later that I realized that I was channeling energy of Raphael while I was working on people. And so because I was connecting with him and I was connecting with, I was intentionally bringing in healing energy for their greatest good. I just hadn't like made that connection for myself that, okay, I'm channeling this energy. I'm channeling from Raphael through me. And so like I was open to, okay, however this is for the greatest good for my clients and for myself, but not always making the little like the connections or like the ahas of how this is all working. I was just trusting that it was. I could feel that it was working. I knew, but I just didn't always know exactly what was happening, which I think happens a lot with, when we're working with these different beings. We don't always understand how or why, but okay, something happened, and I'm trusting that that's what it was.
Yeah, I think trust is a huge thing that everyone can soak in.
Yeah.
Trust.
So that was, long story short, Raphael, I feel mostly in my hands.
Okay.
With being a hands-on healer.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's warmth, sometimes it's a vibration, a buzz. But it also moves through my whole body too. So it's not always just my hands.
Okay. So then are there other angels that come through with your healings with clients, or just Raphael? Because I know you do work with the other angels as well.
Mm-hmm.
How?
Yeah. Well, it's different for different people. Like if someone has issues with, say, with a broken heart or love issues, then Shamuel may come in to help with the heart healing. Or the angels, they don't all they're not all just like mutually exclusive, that only this one works on healing and only this one works on protection and only this one works on forgiveness. That they all can work on all of those things, but we may resonate with some of the archangels more than others. And so, one person that I'm working with might have a really strong connection with Archangel Michael. And even though she needs healing for, these past trauma issues or whatever, it's Michael that is coming in strongest. And Raphael may be there to help me as the healer to bring exactly what's needed, but Michael is just as present. Or there might be, a whole circle of angels around this person, because they have connections with many different ones, and they all want to help. So sometimes there's a whole room full, and that's okay. I will work with whichever ones come in. And usually, it's a combination of the ones that are resonating with me at the time, but also the ones that are present for that person. So we work together.
Yeah, fascinating. So do you work with people that aren't physically there? Because you did say that you have touch with your clients.
So in the beginning, it was all about, I was just seeing the people that came into my office and I put my hands on them. But since then, in the last, I don't know, 7 years, probably, I've been doing more the remote healing. So I can connect with people the same, whether they're with me or, in Hawaii or in the UK or wherever in the world. It's all about energy. And so we can connect our energy. I can tune into your energy and feel what's happening in your body, and you will feel it as if, you'll feel it in your body or around you or whatever. The things will be moving and shifting, and you may feel emotions, you might feel your body relax and soften, or things are happening and you will feel them the same as if I was right there. It's really amazing.
Well, and we've done a session even over video like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For your group. So it is true. And we are all connected.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like there's distance, but there really isn't.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, beautiful. So, how else do you work with clients? So you're an Archangel Life Coach. So what does that mean?
Well, with the coaching sessions, I combine the energy healing, channeling in the angels to help with that. We also talk about whatever issues are coming up and which angels might best be supportive of whatever is happening at the time. Then we do a healing session, but then I also channel wisdom from the angels of whatever would be most helpful for that person at the time, related to what's happening in their lives, what happened in the healing session, and okay, what's the message to that the angels want to leave with the person as we end the session. And then I record a channeled sound healing meditation for them as well. So the Archangel Life Coaching is like a combination of all these different parts that you're getting everything that everything that I have. Here you go.
Okay. So, and let's talk about the channeling part, because I know that some people are like, okay, number one, what is channeling? But also some people actually do channel, or they want to channel. So how did that come about?
Yeah, that like I mentioned, I didn't realize that I was channeling for a long time. That first it was just the energy that was moving through me for the healing sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was doing that, thoughts would pop into my head, and sometimes I would share them. Sometimes the doubter was like, "Oh, I don't know if am I supposed to say that? I don't know." So it took me a while to trust that, okay, whatever is popping into my head while I'm doing this, that's a message that I need to speak. And so that was, I within that sacred space of a healing session, I was open to whatever was coming through, and it was the healing energy, but it was also information, and it was also messages from different, sometimes it would be something that came in from a loved one or from an angel that, okay, this is something that this person needs to hear. But other times it was like an understanding, okay, this is what I was sensing this sadness. What's that about? And then getting some insight that maybe they weren't aware of this. Is it something from when you were, a child, when, 5 years old? What, like these things were popping into my head, and then the person, oh yeah, I, this is what happened when I was 5, and then going with that, taking the healing to a deeper level of where we're processing these deep emotions or past trauma or things that have been buried for many, many years, and now it's time to bring them up so that they can finally get healed. And then with writing books, it was the same thing. I didn't think I would write a book, but then, in a meditation, I was told, okay, in the next year, you're going to be writing a book. And I thought, no way, I'm not a writer. I don't write anything. And I set that aside, and, 6 months later, it came back again, even stronger, and saying, okay, it's time to write a book. And then the ideas started coming, and as they came, then I wrote them down, and that became a book. So,
which I want to talk about in just a minute, but I have one more question about the healing stuff that you do, because you also do sound healing.
Mm-hmm.
Sound is such a powerful tool in so many different ways. So can you talk about the energetics of sound and how that actually helps in healing?
Yeah. So I use crystal singing bowls as sound healing, and they sound like this. I have a couple of them right next to me. the sound healing, the sound vibrations of the crystal singing bowls have a high vibration, and when I use those either in a healing session or in a meditation, it helps uh, like elevate and raise our consciousness so that we can get out of our own way. We can go to a really deep, more meditative space where our mind is quiet and we can let ourselves receive what we really need. And sometimes it seems like we're in a completely different place on some other plane or dimension, or that the bowls can take us wherever we need to go. And so it's the bowls can be a vehicle. That's what's coming to me right now. They're a vehicle of it can take us places, but it can also bring us what we need also. And so, you have the sound waves that are moving, and they can be moving to clear things away.
Mm-hmm.
They can be moving to bring things to us, but they can also be moving to elevate as well. And I've never said it in that way before, but that was just that was what needed to be said right now.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's beautiful, because that's one thing that I teach about in terms of like this connection with the other dimensionals of like, we're as Earth humans generally vibrating pretty low, right? We're pretty dense. And so the more that we can raise our vibration, raise our energy, the more likely then we can connect to these other dimensions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And the singing bowls do that. They help us to with that vibration, you're clearing away some of the stuff that is weighing us down. Sometimes it's past experience, sometimes it's emotion that's been heavy, and it is just, weighing us down, but lowering our vibration. And as we clear this away, we bring in more healing, but it also helps us to raise our vibration to a higher level as well, where we can be more in touch with the light beings, and we're more we have an easier time connecting with them, but it's also helps us to be able to be more of who we are meant to be also.
Yeah, beautiful. So, okay, so let's get into your books now.
Okay.
You have two books that you've written.
Yeah.
And I have had the pleasure of reading both of them, thoroughly enjoy. And so, and I know you are an avid reader yourself, right? Really like romance novels.
Yeah.
And these have that romance flair, not Harlequin, like, or, it's not cheesy romance.
No.
But then you bring in this spiritual underlying story to those. So first, talk about the first book, because how long ago did you write that?
Soul-iloquy. It was first published 4 years ago. And then now last week I re-released it. So it was re-edited and like had a complete makeover, and now is re-released. And I feel like it needed that vibrational shift to come out now. So it has a beautiful cover, and so yeah, that was it was released 4 years ago. It took, let's see, I wrote it the year before that, so 5 years.
Okay, and so like writing fiction, like not my thing. I'm like, I gotta write stuff that I know. But how, I mean, you brought this beautiful story that is fictional, but then you brought in elements of your energy healing and all of that. So if you just shared the first book, just give a little tidbit of what that is about.
So the book Soul-iloquy, the title Soul-iloquy is, talking to yourself, like in Hamlet, when he's talking to himself, the monologue, that's what soliloquy is. Well, throughout this book, the main character, Lily, learns to connect with her soul, and she has these conversations with her soul in journal entries. Every chapter there's a new journal entry. And so she's talking with her soul and trying to figure out what would make her life better. She's in the beginning of the book, she's in a place where, she has everything she ever thought she wanted. She has a good job. She has a nice guy. Everything is going well, but she's not happy. And I think this happens to so many of us. We're on this path and we just stay on this path because it's the path we've always been on and we should be happy there, right? But we get to a point where, okay, this isn't making me happy. And why isn't this making me happy? What's missing, or what's wrong? And it was through her, she meets an energy healer and goes through, digging through some of her old expectations and things that, were kind of ingrained in her, that teaching her that this is what you should want. This is what will make you happy. And until she can, go deeper and find her own truth and bring that out. Okay, what is it when she really connects with her soul? What is it that her soul really wants for her? And maybe it's this, but maybe it's something else. And that's, through this book, you're going through this journey with Lily as she's discovering herself and finding out what she wants in life. And I think that's something that we've all done from time to time and continue to do.
Exactly. I mean, reading it, I could relate because I have been in different timelines where I feel like, okay, on the surface, it looks like I should be just filled with joy and just have the best life. But then underlying, it's like, no, I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, what does my soul want? So I think that it's a book that a lot of people can relate to. And in fact, I think most women absolutely relate to.
Yeah. And I think that no matter what stage of life you're in, whether you're, young and just trying to figure out a career and, trying to decide if you want a family or not, or if you've, raised your kids and now, now what, or maybe later in life, okay, what do I want to do now? No matter where we are, these things come up that, okay, we can be unhappy at any point in our lives, but what do we want to do? What would really make us happy? And how do we find that inner truth, that inner light of, okay, what is our soul trying to say?
Yeah. Well, and that's you and I, that's what we do with our clients, right? We help try to find that inner knowingness, that inner truth.
Right. Yeah.
Desire to, okay, follow your soul's desire, your heart's desire.
Yeah. And sometimes you do need to, dig through some of the crap that you've been carrying for too long in order to get to that truth.
I think most people have blockages that they're not even aware of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, and again, we're human, so we're going to continue to have blockages throughout our lives while we're still human.
Right.
It's part of learning the wisdom.
Well, and figuring out what those lessons are. What is it that we're learning here?
Exactly. So that one just got re-released last week. And then number 2, Solicitude, comes out this Monday.
Yes.
Monday the 4th. Okay. So tell me about that book. Tell everyone about that one.
So Solicitude is a story of deciding to choose a different path. So Elise is the main character, and it starts off in the first chapter. She's escaping an abusive relationship, and her angels guide her in the middle of the night that it's time for her to get up and leave. And she grew up in an abusive household, so the angels were always with her, keeping her safe. So she trusted when they told her it was time that, okay, this is what she had to do. So she gets in her car and she drives until she has to stop. And someone is there to help her when she needed it. And it brought these two together. but they both have their issues. They both have things to heal. So it's not like a love connection right off the bat. Elise and Zeke both have things that keep them. Neither one of them are looking for a relationship, and but they're kind of thrown together. And she has a lot of self-worth issues, a lot of, this programming that from when she was really small of what she learned at home, that she was worthless, that there was no good in her, that she deserved to be abused, that, all of these things, and that she got growing up, she carried through in her adult relationships, because that's what she was programmed, that, okay, this is just the way that people treat me. This is what I deserve. This is, this is just how it is. And now, now that she meets Zeke, and he brings her to an energy healer, and she starts working through some of these old programs and finding out what's true and what's not true. And that she does have the power to change the direction of her life. She doesn't have to stay on this path of abuse, but she can have something better, that she really does deserve it. So that's it. It's a story. There is, the theme of abuse is in there, but it's not the heavy, like digging into the deep trauma of the abuse, but it's okay, how do you overcome this and bring your life in a different direction after that? So it's more a story of hope.
It is, for sure. And I think that for women that are in that situation, or still maybe they've gotten out of the situation but haven't done the healing, that it's very inspirational for them. And I know you had me read the book because of my history with abuse. And so I really resonated with the storyline. And, back when I was in the middle of that kind of abuse, toxic relationship, really it was my worth, my lack of self-love that kept me there, and not knowing that I had a choice. I felt like I was caged, that I was stuck. And my world had to crash for me to then come out of that. Obviously, I have come out of that, but then it was deep healing that I needed to do. Yeah.
But before you did the healing, you had one abusive relationship and then into another one. And so it's that, it took that you doing that deep healing to get yourself out of that.
Yes.
Out of that path, right?
The pattern. Yes. Yeah. And so for those of you that, might be in it yourself, or maybe you have a friend or family member that is in it, just even putting this information in front of them might give them a glimmer of hope and inspiration.
Yeah.
Even though it's fictional, but it is based on real situations that happen.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes you may even be wondering whether it's abusive or not, but why do I keep attracting these same people? Why do I go from, one relationship to another, and, even though they're very different, they're still not good for me. Why can't I find someone who is really in line with the way I want things to be? And that's where the healing comes in, that, a lot of times it does come down to the self-love, self-worth, knowing what you deserve, that you're worthy of something better.
Well, and the story, I also relate to it in the way that when I first met Skip, my husband, he was not looking to date. He was still going through his divorce, and it took several months for him to be willing to date me. And I was more ready than he was, because I had already been doing a lot of the healing work. However, by him not being ready, it forced me to do even more healing work before we actually officially got together. And so also that part of the story, I could really relate to myself.
Because I think it brings, I like the balance of it, that it's not all about the broken woman that needed to heal, right. But, he has his own issues. And in any relationship, we both bring our own stuff. And, that both people need to heal and take responsibility for where they are and what they bring to the relationship. And so that was one thing that I felt was important with this story, is that, yeah, he had his own issues and they weren't the same as hers, but he had to do his own healing before, he was ready to really help her. So,
yeah.
And they ended up, they were helping each other all along.
Yes. Beautiful. So, okay. So for those that are interested in getting your books, what's the best place for them to get that?
The best place is on my website. It's my author website. That's KristenGroth.com, KristenGroth.com. And so on that website, there's a description of both books and a link to purchase both of them. And they're on Amazon. And actually right now this week, Soul-iloquy is on sale this week for 99 cents. So you can get that one cheaper right now, the ebook.
Okay. So for those watching this on Facebook, we'll definitely put the link on there.
Mm-hmm.
But I like having books in my hand too. So,
print copies also available. Yeah.
And then you're working on your third book in the series right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So any little hints about what the theme is for that?
Oh, the theme of that one is, PTSD is one that's coming up. So the female character has some trauma, some old trauma that's triggered by something that happened in her past. And then the male character, he has his own trauma that he's had trauma that happened before, but also during the story, something else happened. So they're helping each other heal at different times. So it starts off, she needs him, or he's helping facilitate her healing, and then it flips over to where he needs her and she's helping him to get past what's happened. So I'm not going to tell you exactly what's going on, but yeah, let's see. I haven't gotten real far into it. I'm probably a quarter of the way done, but it's going to be another powerful story, kind of similar to book 2, Solicitude, where we have both characters that are going through their healing process, but at the same time. So,
okay. Well, and what's maybe the time frame of that one coming out?
I'm shooting for fall of this year.
Okay. So we don't have to wait too long, hopefully.
Right. Yes.
Like for me, like once I read book 1, I'm like, okay, where's book 2? And then I got to read it. So now, if something's good, and you are a really good writer.
Oh, thank you. I love hearing that.
You keep the story moving along. It's really nice and descriptive, and you feel like you're part of these characters. And so anyway, those of you who haven't read Kris's books, you definitely need to get those.
Yeah.
And
something it's interesting having it be a fiction book, but it holds a lot of the spiritual teachings of a nonfiction book, but also the experiential, like you're going through this healing process with the characters. So it helps. I think it kind of brings it home of how you can use this for your life, that, okay, she was able to go through this, maybe I can too. Or, you're kind of living vicariously through the characters and going through the healing with them as well. So there's a lot that to be received from them.
Yeah, there is. And so the healing that you talk about in the book are those the same kinds of healings that you do with clients?
They are, yeah.
Okay.
And so a lot of the healing sessions are pulled from different clients that I've worked with, or modified, of course, but a lot of them, this is the kind of work that I do. These things really can happen this way. And this is, if you're ever wondering what a remote energy healing session looks like, or what emotional and spiritual healing is about. The sessions in the book are what they're like. Though it's different for everybody, and it's different for whatever's coming up for you, but it gives you a really good idea, or a taste of it anyway.
Yeah, definitely. And okay, so the characters, I mean, I know some about your life, not our audience doesn't necessarily, but in what way, how are you able to write these characters? Because you don't necessarily have the same experiences that they do.
No. And like, there's no character that is me, but I know there are parts of me in all of them. I guess I'm constantly thinking in dialogue and thinking like in movies, and like scenarios are going through my mind all the time. That's just how my brain works. And so, I'll have a conversation with someone, and I might replay that conversation 100 times later in different ways of, okay, different things I could have said. And, part of it is maybe my doubting or critical nature, oh, I should have said that, or, but it's also just, I think of different possibilities, or, it might not even be a conversation that I've had, but maybe one that, oh, what if I talk to this person about this? And then what would they say? And what would I say? And, like this whole thing goes through my mind. Well, then as I'm writing a story, the dialogue just comes through so easy. Like that's just how my mind works. And I wake up in the morning, and I, like, my mind has already been working through different scenes, and it might not be in this book, but I could use that someday, or it's like, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I read so much. I read like a book a day almost.
Okay.
And so like my brain just works in a fiction kind of way. But I don't know. when it came to, okay, if I'm going to write a book, what kind of book am I going to write? It had to be fiction, because that's just how I think.
Right. And I'm the opposite. Like, again, I could maybe try a fiction, but my brain doesn't work that way. At least that I tell myself that. Maybe it does. Maybe if I said, of course I can write fiction, then I would be able to. Yeah. So, okay. So give the audience a synopsis of all the kind of work that they could do with you if they're interested.
Okay. So I do have a monthly membership that's called the Archangel Adventure Club. And in that club, we have 2 classes a month, and we focus on one archangel per month. So as I was saying, how I learned about, to experience the angels, it was through, prolonged period of time. So we're focusing on one archangel each month, giving you the opportunity to listen to meditations, to connect with them, to see what experiences they bring you in that month. And then the next month we switch to a different one. So then you have different experiences, and it helps to, find that differentiation, and to really, really learn which ones resonate with you, and how they're different from each other. So that's Archangel Adventure Club. That's a monthly membership. That's $33 a month. So we have, membership is open right now. This coming month, April, is going to be Jophiel, and then in May is going to be Orion. Now, so Orion will get into your more like the galactic, where we're, Orion is an archangel, but also is connected to the cosmos. So I think that will be a fun one to, like, bridging those 2 different things.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't even know there was an Archangel Orion. How many archangels are there?
Well, I don't know really. There's a lot. and Orion's been one that has been kind of debated. Some say he's an archangel, and some say he's more of a guide. And, so we'll be kind of experimenting with that one, and see what we experience with that. See if we can discern for ourselves what is true for us about Orion. So,
What are his qualities supposed to be? Like, I mean, because Michael is power and protection and all that, right? And Raphael's more healing.
Mm-hmm.
So Orion, what
Well,
energy?
and I know more, it's like connecting with that star energy and the galactic, um, the consciousness. So I don't know. We're going to be playing with that and see what Orion brings us.
Well,
So
I look forward to hearing about that.
yeah.
What's Jophiel all about?
A Jophiel is creativity and art and the home. So like time to clear your space and connection to beauty, seeing the beauty all around you. So it's perfect one for springtime with flowers blooming and things coming back to life, and connect with your creativity and that flow of inspiration and see what beauty you can create in your life.
Excellent. Okay, so you have Archangel Adventure Club. You also have a couple of different oracle decks or affirmation decks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So tell people about that.
I have Archangel Affirmation deck. Let me see. That's right here. So the deck has all the different, like this one is Ariel. So it's in the color of the Archangel, and then it has an affirmation about what they can help you work with. So, different ones for, just choose through. There's Zadkiel with, so whatever each archangel has 4 different cards, and then and the affirmations relate to the strengths of that archangel. So it's a good way to learn about them, but also receive the message or the guidance that you need. Mm-hmm. What affirmation would be most helpful for you? Then I also have Archangel Soul Care cards. That's these. And each archangel has a different thing you can do for yourself. So this one, Gabrielle, is find ways to express yourself. Let's see. This one, Uriel, about positive thoughts. So different activities that you can do, or things that would be helpful for you or that you need to know for that day. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I love this deck. They're both awesome, but yeah, I really like that.
Thank you.
The activities. Okay, so you've got the decks, you've got the books, you have your club, you have your healing, your remote healing that you can do for people.
Yeah, so I do private sessions online. We do through Zoom like this. And then I also do Archangel Life Coaching. So both of those are done wherever you are in the world, but with a Zoom call like this.
And you've created jewelry. We have a lot in common.
You too, yeah. My jewelry is focused on archangels, obviously. So like this one is Zadkiel and has little angel wings, and the crystals that are in the color and the stone of that resonate with that archangel. So got quite a few different ones of that.
Yeah. Are those on your website as well?
They are, yeah.
Okay.
The website of krisgroth.com. So that's my business website where everything is pretty much there, except I do have a separate author website. But all of my healing services and products and classes and things are all on the krisgroth.com.
Okay. Well, and for people who want to meet with you in person, you're in the Twin Cities, Minnesota area.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that was not part of your bio. So I just want people to know where you reside in the world.
That is where I am.
Hear you, or they maybe are traveling through the area. Yeah. So what has been your biggest takeaway from working with the angels?
Um, I would say that we're never alone, that we have the support we need for whatever it is that we're going through. We make choices, and we, are we're trying to do our best and be our best, but that we have this support team that has our back and is, they'll be guiding us and cheering us on and helping us get through things, so that we're not just floundering here by ourselves. We have a support team, and we can call on them whenever we need them. They're always there. So
Yeah, beautiful. Well, and do you have to be religious or spiritual to have angels in your life?
no, I think that's like a misconception. They really aren't about religion. Um, there are a lot of the different religions do refer to angels, but
Mhm.
they're not associated with any one religion. And really, you don't have to have any religion. Anybody can call on the angels. They are beings of light. They're all about love of humanity, and they're here to support and help us to live our best lives. And similar to other beings of light, they're
Yeah.
we have so much support around us, and not saying one is better than the other. It's all in what resonates with you. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, we have our spirit guides. I was working with a client yesterday where she got to meet one of her spirit guides. She didn't know that he existed until we did the regression, but then it was like she knew him though when it was there. Not and it's not anyone in her life, but and then some people, meet their angels, and some people meet their galactic family and guides, but
mhm.
they're all part of us.
Yeah, yeah. And I think especially right now with everything that's happening in the world, it's nice to know that we have a little extra support. That
Yeah,
um, yeah.
I agree. So, have you had any ET experiences yourself? I know, angels are your world, but have
Mhm.
you had any experience at all?
Well, I was at Mount Shasta. I think it was about 5 years ago or so, and I got lost in the mountains there. And I was going on a hike. Somebody had recommended going to this place, and so I was by myself. I thought, okay, I'm just going to do this little day hike. I'm going to go to where this little lake is, and I'll sit and hang out at the lake, and then come back. And well, I started going on the path that I thought was going to take me where they told me this lake was. Well, I'm walking and walking and walking for, if it was supposed to be like a half-hour hike to this lake. Well, it was over an hour, and I'm nowhere near lake. And so then, you know, I decide, okay, it's got to be over this way. And so I decide to go through the trees to get to where I thought the lake was. Well, never leave the path. Everybody knows this, but that was what I did. And so I was completely lost in the woods of Mount Shasta, you know, middle of nowhere. And I think I was walking for like 5 or 6 hours before I found my way back, before I found that lake where I, you know, was doing the quick hike to.
Yeah.
But in that time, I felt a presence around me. I felt like, and I don't know if it was angels. I don't know if it was, beings of the mountain. I
Mhm.
felt like there was a being, there was, there was beings in the mountain. It was both. It was both. There were angels and there was the being of the mountain. And I was asking, okay, please guide me to where I need to be, because, it was, by the time I got to where I needed to be, the sun was setting. And so, like, and to be lost in the wilderness at night, I, did not wanted, didn't want, not want that to happen. And yet I felt this presence around me and guiding me.
Mhm.
And so even though I should have been completely freaked out, I was like, there, for somehow I just knew that everything was going to be okay, that I wasn't alone there, and it was going to be all right. And, they were guiding me, and I did find my way. And it was one of my coolest experiences, just because, I had nothing I could fall back on. Nobody even knew where I was. I was out, and it was my last day of this trip, and then I was, from there I was leaving to go to the airport. So I, like, if I would have stayed lost, nobody, they would have known I didn't come home, but they wouldn't have known where to look. But yeah, I was guided, and I even I sat at one point. I climbed up to where there was this rocky ridge, and I was sitting there like, okay, and I can see woods all around me, and I can't see the lake I was looking for, even though, I can see for miles around, but I couldn't see anything. And I was asking, okay, show me the way. And like, I could see like a lighted, it was lighter in one direction.
Okay.
And somehow I knew, okay, that's the way I need to go. And yeah, it ended up being that way. And so many things happened along the way. I was constantly seeing heart-shaped rocks, and that was my thing. I love finding heart-shaped rocks. But everywhere I was going, even through the woods and through the ravine, and everywhere I looked, there was heart-shaped rocks like leading me away. So it was miraculous. But I also definitely felt like there were angels around me, but it was also like the being of the mountain. And I think that's probably a galactic thing there.
Actually, you know much about Mount Shasta and who lives there, or who is supposed to live there?
Right. And so I didn't, I mean, I know there's a galactic presence there, but I didn't really know who or what that was. But I felt I kept referring to it as the being of the mountain, and that being of the mountain was reassuring me that I was safe there, and that nothing would happen to me there.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Ascended Master Saint Germain is one of the beings that's supposed to reside there. That people have stories of actually running into him, like seeing him.
Huh. That would be cool. I would have liked to seen him. Maybe he was there and I didn't see.
Well, and then the inner earth beings. There's supposed to be an inner earth city under the mountain, Talos, and so the whole Agarthan group are the inner earth beings. So we're originally from Lemuria and Atlantis.
Okay. And I resonate with that. I've read lots of different things about Lemuria and Atlantis, and I've felt the connection there, but I don't have the understanding of what it means. But when you say that, I'm like, oh yeah.
Well, and for those people who are kind of like who doubt themselves or their understanding, if you do get that, oh yeah, I know that, or you get it in your body, it's real.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and it's trusting that, knowing that even if we don't understand it, if we have that, well, I don't know, this is my sacral authority, but it's trusting that gut sense of, okay, yeah, I know that's right. I don't know why I know that's right, but it is.
Excellent. Well, Kris, thank you so much for being on with me today. And for those of you who are interested in doing any kind of work with Kris, krisgroth.com, or buy her books, Solicitude and Soul-iloquy, on KristineGroth.com or Amazon. Get that 99-cent Kindle download.
Yeah.
On Amazon. And thank you all for tuning in or watching the replay. And I will see you all next time. Thanks, Kris.
Thanks so much, Lisa. Bye.